Yesterday, someone was asking me that how the hyperconjugation was happening in alkenes. Just check that once again. See, we have carbon-hydrogen bond, and there is an empty pi star orbital present with the carbon which has a double bond. The other day I told you, according to molecular orbital theory, when we have a pi bond forming, we can have a bonding molecular orbital and an anti-bonding molecular orbital. Anti-bonding molecular orbitals will be always away from the nucleus, and which is what happening here. You can see with respect to this carbon, this pi star orbital will be away from the nucleus, and that would be in a much close vicinity with the carbon hydrogen bond, because of which the bonded electrons of carbon hydrogen sigma electrons, they can start migrating towards pi star orbital, and that helps to form this double bond formation. Is that clear, everybody? So as it forms this double bond, which shows that there is a sigma and pi star overlapping happening when we have a conjugation with double bond, right? And yesterday we were studying about aromaticity. Let me just remind you once again. In aromatic compounds, it gets a lot of stability because of its symmetrical distribution of electrons. And how these electrons get symmetrically distributed, that can be learned using Frost diagram. Frost diagram tells us that whatever the structure is, put that structure exactly in a symmetrical circular manner here, and then draw a mid path which will showcase that it is a non-bonding molecular orbital potential energy. Above that there will be anti-bonding molecular orbitals. Below that we have bonding molecular orbitals. So wherever there are vertices, imagine that you have to distribute electrons starting with starting with the orbital which has lowest energy, following Aufbau's rule. So first two electrons will come here, next two electrons, and next two electrons. This is a distribution of pi electrons only. Since benzene has 3 pi electrons, 3 pi bonds, 1, 2, 3. These three are the distributions. Okay, students? And based on that, it is clear that all these pi bonds are, all these electrons, pi electrons are present in bonding molecular orbital only and not in non-bonding or anti-bonding molecular orbital. What are the properties an aromatic compound will show? It would be cyclic, it has to be planar, there should be a continuous conjugation, it must follow Huckel's rule, which is 4n plus 2 pi electrons. 4n plus 2 pi electrons means either it should show 2 pi electrons, 6 pi electrons, 10 pi electrons, 14, and so on. Or it could just be counted as odd number of pi bonds. And it should show diamagnetic property. If an aromatic compound is showing diamagnetic property, in NMR spectrography, it is termed as diatropic ring current. So it will show diatropic ring current and it will be highly stable. So we learned few examples and learned that how there are odd number of pi bonds are present which are in conjugation and showcasing aromatic nature. And then we discussed about anti-aromatic compounds, where I took the reference of cyclobutene, butadiene. In here you can see again we have 4 electrons to distribute. Bonding molecular orbital is only 1, so 2 electrons will be distributed here, and then 1 electron will be in here and 1 electron will be here. So there are 2 unpaired electrons present in non-bonding molecular orbital. Okay, so because of which it will be usually unstable at room temperature. If you see the properties and what anti-aromatic compound will show, it would be cyclic, it would be planar, it would have continuous conjugation, and it would follow 4n pi electron rule, not 4n plus 2. So which means it will be 4, 8, 12, 16 pi electrons present in the ring, which means it would have either even number of pi bonds. And since there are unpaired electrons, which show paramagnetic property, and in NMR spectrography it is read as paratropic ring current, and it is definitely an unstable species. And being an unstable species, either it will accept electrons to become aromatic, or it will lose electrons to become aromatic, or it will dimerize itself to become at least non-aromatic. The reason for becoming non-aromatic is relatively more stable than anti-aromatic. What is non-aromatic? If any of these properties present, the molecule is termed as non-aromatic. For instance, if we have an open chain, it is non-aromatic. If it is non-planar, also non-aromatic. There is no continuous conjugation, only double bond is far away from each other or they are not in conjugation, we will say it is definitely a non-aromatic compound. There should not be any ring current, which means there is not a continuous current that is developed throughout the ring. So if you see stability wise, aromatic compounds are the most stable, then non-aromatic, then anti-aromatic. So if there is any chance for anti-aromatic to convert into non-aromatic, it will always convert. Okay, clear students? So anti-aromatic will not stay as an anti-aromatic molecule. It will always try to convert into non-aromatic or aromatic. Okay, so this is the briefing of three types of aromatic compounds. Now let us see, there are some important cases in aromatic structures. Let me show you first one. Suppose if you have any benzene form with donating groups like OH, suppose if there is any phenyl group. So in phenol, you know that lone pair will be donated. Even if it is donating or withdrawing, this ring current will always be present. So hence this will always be aromatic. Similarly, even if you have NO2 and double bond O and O like this, so although the pi bond is going away from ring, it does not mean it is losing aromaticity. Still it is aromatic compound, which means it will show resonance outside also, it will show inside also. So it will still show the aromatic nature. And same is the case with, CH3 also. Same is the case with, CH2OH. Any form you have, right, as long as it is benzene, these are all termed as aromatic compounds only. Planarity should be only there where you have the ring beta, where you have the ring current. Okay. For example, if at all I take a molecule like this, got it? There is no planarity on this ring, but whatever the ring current which is present, where the pi electrons are delocalized, that should be planar. You can say this is planar, hence this is also aromatic. I hope the point is clear, everybody. So any of this which has ring current, they all are suggested to be aromatic. Now, aromaticity can also arise because of the charge present on them. For instance, if I take this tropyline group, okay, so this tropyline group or tropyline compound, when you react with this tert phenyl carbocation, okay, tertiary phenyl carbocation or triphenyl carbocation, this carbocation will fetch H minus from here. So it will fetch H minus from here and convert this to carbocation. The minute it becomes carbocation here, now you can see we have 1, 2, 3. So 3 pi bonds in a ring. And we have learned this and we have put the resonating structures for this also. This is called tropylium carbocation. And this tropylium carbocation has resonance present in it, right, with respect to the charge which has attained. So these kind of aromatic compounds which has charge on it, those are called quasi-aromatic compounds. Okay, they are aromatic, but because they have a charge present on it, they are showing that aromaticity. That's why they are called quasi-aromatic compounds. Is that clear, everybody? The important nature is, initially if you see, this compound is non-aromatic. It is non-aromatic, Na as in non-aromatic. Here it has an sp3 carbon. So resonance was happening only here. It is not covering this carbon. Got it? So the complete ring is not getting the ring current, or complete delocalization is not happening. Only this much delocalization was happening. The minute it got positive charge, now the delocalization happening throughout the ring. Got it? Now it has become aromatic. And these type of aromatic compounds are called quasi-aromatic. Another example, see same thing, if you have tropylium with a bromine present on it instead of hydrogen, okay, without any reaction itself, bromine will come out as Br minus, okay, and it would exist as this tropylium carbocation with Br minus. So this will become tropylium carbocation bromide. Okay. In fact, if you see this molecule, right, if you add it to water, it is highly soluble, which itself suggests that they must be polar in nature. So that polarity is coming because of its aromatic nature. Is that clear, everybody? So it does not want to exist in this non-aromatic form. It would immediately turn into the aromatic form. Everyone? Some compounds requires some reagents to form aromatic nature. For instance, if you check out here, suppose if you have bromine, there is some propyl group, propyl here and propyl here. Imagine a compound like this. And I treat that with Ag plus. Ag plus will immediately take Br minus to form AgBr precipitate. It will form AgBr precipitate. And the minute Br minus leaves from here, that carbon will attain positive charge. So these are all Pr, Pr and Pr. Now if you check out the ring here, this entire ring has aromatic nature. Correct? So this would be completely aromatic compound. This is aromatic in nature. So from non-aromatic, it will convert into aromatic form when there is any reagent that is being provided. I think you guys understood this. Okay. Now, in fact, if you see this point here first, you would see this carbocation is also very stable now, which means I have carbon with at least 3 phenyl groups present on it. So which is highly stable. So if you have 3 phenyl groups like this, so there is a lot of resonance and it is highly stable. But yet if you check out an aromatic compound, which is tropylium, this product is coming through this only, which means this must be even more stable. In fact, experimentally it has been observed that it is 10 raised to power of 11 times more stable than this. So you can imagine when it comes to stability of aromatic compounds, they are so highly stable. Everyone, I guess the point is clear. So between these two, the stability is so high for aromatic compounds. That is one of the prime reasons why these compounds will turn out to become aromatic. With respect to the positive charge, when it is moving inside, correct? This positive charge will come here, 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 different places, correct? Okay. Now imagine if the positive charge goes inside to make resonance like this. It is making a double bond, positive charge, and this way, correct? Yes, beta. This is how the resonance will take place. Let's say it is going, this positive charge is entering into this ring. Now, if you see the ring, how does it look like, beta? In the ring, there are 2 pi bonds with a positive charge. Yes, it is attaining anti-aromatic nature, right? Which means, do you think that positive charge will go so easily on into that rings? We are not saying there is no resonance happening. We are saying that magnitude of resonance where positive charge entering into the phenyl ring would be less. Understood? While here the positive charge is moving so fast because it is highly stable at every carbon, whether it is on this carbon, this carbon, this carbon, every carbon, it would give that same aromatic feel. See the next question here. Suppose, same thing. As long as any halide is present, the minute you remove this halide, okay, which means I need any source which can remove that halide. Like SbCl5 is a strong Lewis acid. It would immediately take that halide and becomes SbCl6 minus. And what would happen to this ring? This would become positive and this will be an aromatic compound. And overall, you can see this is a positive charge species, this is a negative charge species. They will become completely ionic and exist as an ionic crystal. Exist as white crystalline solid, exist as white crystalline solid. Okay, they become so ionic here. I guess all of you understood this point. Next molecule, the name is azulene. The driving force is the aromaticity. Correct? If it removes this Cl minus, the molecule will attain aromatic nature. Now check this. Azulene will have one of the canonicals of azulene is this one. This structure's name is azulene. So one of the structures of azulene would be looking like this. This is one of the canonicals. Now if at all I start putting this canonical here, you can see, imagine this, if I get a positive charge here and negative charge here, this entire molecule will also become aromatic, this will also become aromatic. As of now, I'm not completely able to say whether they are aromatic or not. So if you check it out, suppose if this positive charge comes here, if this positive charge comes here, if this positive charge comes here, got it? Now what would that become? And let's say this negative charge moves here. Then how does this structure look like now? It would have minus with double bond. Here we will have double bond. Here we'll have positive charge. Here we'll have double bond. Here we'll have double bond. So I guess all of you are able to make this now, right? You can see from azulene, which was supposed to be this as one of the canonicals, I can write this in plus and minus. Now observe this, students. This has 2, 2 and 2. So which means it is an aromatic compound. Total 3 pi bonds. Same way, if you look over here, 2, 2 and 2 with this positive charge. This is a tropylium carbocation. Both have become aromatic now. So in fact, if I write the hybrid would exist something like this with double bond, with ring current here with negative charge and complete ring current with positive charge. This is how it will exist. Okay, so all the canonical forms of azulene, if you check out in the hybrid form, this side of the ring, the bigger ring will be positively charged, the smaller ring will be negatively charged. That will give, an dipole moment. That will give a dipole moment as mu is equal to 0.8 dB. This much amount of dipole moment is being seen. So which tells us this molecule will become dipolar because it has 2 polar charges completely. Second, because it is an ionic compound, it will be crystalline, and it would be blue color solid, crystalline blue color solid, and a very stable molecule. This is the importance of azulene. Everybody, I hope you understood what is with the azulene now. So on the contrary, see, azulene and naphthalene, if at all I write naphthalene here, this is naphthalene state. Okay, everyone. Naphthalene and azulene are isomeric to each other because molar mass, if you check out the molecular formula, it is exactly same. So azulene and naphthalene are isomers of each other. But when it comes to these two, see how the property varies. Naphthalene is completely non-polar. It is a liquid state molecule. Well, it is also stable because of resonance and aromatic nature, but dipole moment is completely zero here. Correct? If you check out the canonicals of naphthalene here, how does they look like? This is one canonical, then this is the second canonical, okay, and this is the third canonical. So these are the 3 canonicals of naphthalene. And overall, if you check out the hybrid of naphthalene here, now tell me, if at all I consider this as structure 1, structure 2 and structure 3, correct? Structure 1, 2, 3. Here, which of these 3 structures are contributing, or are these 3 equivalent structures, students? All these 3 structures are exactly same? No, check carefully. Second and third are equivalent, but not the first one. Okay, check out in the first one, everybody. In the first one, this is also becoming aromatic because this pi bond is shared, and this is also becoming aromatic compound. Okay, so both the rings are becoming aromatic here. While here, if you see, this ring is aromatic, but at the same time, at the same instance, this ring is not. This is an anti-aromatic form. Same way, if you check out here, this ring is aromatic, while this ring is not. Which means, tell me, between 1, 2, and 3, which will be more contributing, students? 1 will be more contributing, which means, right. So if at all I check out the stability within the canonicals, I can say 1 is more stable than 2, then 3. Okay. Now, when I write the hybrid for the naphthalene, you got to be clear that this will have more features of this rather than these two. So if at all I number them, let's say, imagine I'll just give the numbering of different carbons: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Overall, there would be resonance here also, here also. That is not an issue. But if you see the double bond character between these two, there would be more double bond character, and here there would be more single bond character, because this is the most contributing canonical. So therefore, if you see C1 C2 bond length, okay, bond length, if you observe, this bond length would be longer compared to that of C2 and C3. Everybody got this point now? Because these features of canonical would be most existing in the hybrid form. Everybody, please understand that point carefully. Okay. So unlike benzene, where all carbon-carbon bonds have exactly same bond length, same bond order, here the bond order is different, bond length is different here. Correct? So C1, C2 bond length is different, C2, C3 bond length is different. Again, C3, C4 bond length is almost the same as that of C1, C2, because that is almost as that of single bond. So if you see, C1, C2 bond length is almost same as that of C3, C4 bond length, while C2, C3 bond length is same as that of C4, C5 bond length. Okay. So overall property wise, if you see naphthalene has mu, which is 0. So it is non-polar. It is non-polar for sure. And as well as it would exist in more of liquid to solid state. Got it? Depending upon the temperature. Most of the time it is the solid state at room temperature. Got it? And you know, it would be white crystalline form. Okay. But this white crystalline form is not because of the ionic nature, it is because of the van der Waal nature. So because of that van der Waal attraction, naphthalene will have this existence. Okay, everyone. Now please make a note up to this F. Let's see the next one here. See this molecule, if you check it out, it has a ring current alternative double bonds, right? So we expect it has to be non-aromatic because it has 8 pi electrons. So it is following 4n rule. Okay, what are the properties? Once again, check out. It is planar, it has a ring current, it has alternate double bonds, okay, and it is following 4n electron rule. So it is non-aromatic, sorry, anti-aromatic. Okay, so it is expected to be anti-aromatic. This is expected. But like I said, if there is a chance for this molecule to attain either aromatic form or non-aromatic form, it will not want to exist in this aromatic anti-aromatic form. It would immediately convert into that non-aromatic or aromatic form. So in this case, it cannot exhibit in anti-aromatic form. In fact, naturally, it will exist in a non-aromatic form. How does this exist? These two hydrogens, these two carbons and these two carbons, imagine like the top of this tub. Okay. And here there is one double bond. Here there is one double bond here and one double bond here. So it will become a tub shaped molecule. So it would become a tub shape. So it is definitely not planar now. Since it is not planar, it would become non-aromatic. So this would exist as, this molecule will exist as non-aromatic form. Understood everyone? So it is avoiding this 8 pi electron loop and avoiding being anti-aromatic form to become non-planar tub shape. So the name of this molecule is cyclooctatetraene. So this is cyclooctatetraene, which does not want to exhibit in the anti-aromatic form, and it will in fact exist as a non-aromatic form here. Okay, so please remember, if the question is given this way, do not write it as anti-aromatic. It is going to be non-aromatic form. Clear everybody? Next, see this molecule. This is just as a this is just as the troponium carbocation. Instead of carbocation here, it is connected with double bond O. But you know that C double bond O is highly polar, and that is in fact getting a chance to convert into aromatic form. So how does it convert? This way. This will try to exhibit as completely negative and completely positive, so that now this entire ring becomes aromatic. Clear? So if you were asked a question like CH3, C double bond O, CH3, this is a simple acetone or ketone. If you compare the dipole moment here, if you compare the dipole moment of carbon oxygen here, and I call it as mu1, and you compare the dipole moment here as mu2, which one will be more dipole here? Mu2 would be more dipole than mu1, correct? Because it is almost going to exist like a positive and negative charge. Clear everyone? So this is to attain that aromatic nature. So this name is tropone. Basically troponium is becoming ketone, so it is called as tropone. So tropone is also aromatic. In fact, few other examples I'll give you. Suppose if you have a molecule like this, double bond O, even this will try to exist itself as O minus and plus, so that the ring can become aromatic. Okay, everyone, this is how their existence is. So if you were asked in the question like whether this molecule is aromatic or not, you will say yes, because it will exhibit in this form. Okay, students. Next form is, this is called benzene form. This is called benzene form. Basically, it is a benzene. It is a benzene, but there is one more pi bond present here. This pi bond is not a regular pp pi bond. This pi bond, in fact, is forming between, you know, here it is there. There is no hydrogen here. There is one electron in sp2. There is one electron in sp2 here. So these sp2 electrons, you know, both these sp2 electrons are forming a pi bond here. So this pi bond which is formed is actually between two sp2 hybridized pi bonds. So this pi bond which is there, so remember that this pi bond is formed between sp2 hybridized pi bond. So usually pi bonds are only formed with pure orbitals. This is one of those exceptions where hybridized orbital is forming a pi orbital. Okay. So if you were asked regular pp pi bonds are how many beta? Here pp pi bonds are 3. Okay. And sp2 pi bonds are 1. Okay. So this pi bond has no role in aromaticity. All these 3 other pi bonds are making aromatic nature here, because that will fulfill that aromatic nature of that molecule. So this is also an aromatic compound. So benzene is another form which you need to be careful that that is also satisfying that aromatic nature. Similarly, suppose if you have one more compound like this, where I have oxygen, double bond, chlorine here with electrons present on oxygen, and I'm treating that with any silver salt, Ag plus ClO4 minus. Now here also we know that Ag plus will immediately take away the Cl minus, and it would get that positive charge here to make sure it will become aromatic. Because the minute it gets positive charge, you can see this lone pair, this pi bond and this pi bond, they will become 3 pair of pi bonds or 6 pi electrons, satisfying the aromatic 4n+2 rule. So that with ClO4 minus exist as an ionic compound plus AgCl will form a precipitate. Okay, but on the same thing, note, if you have some other compound like this, a double bond here, right, with Cl, and you are treating the same thing with the silver salt here. Now this reaction won't happen, because if you are expecting this to form carbocation here and AgCl precipitates, problem is this would become anti-aromatic now. So here there is no reaction. The reaction will only proceed in the forward direction if it is attaining that aromatic form. Otherwise, there won't be any reaction here. Okay, students. Now, in generally, whenever we do reactions in acid and bases, suppose if there is an acid HA, okay, this is delta positive, delta negative, correct? And any base B minus, if at all it reacts, it will extract this proton and A minus will form, and that's how we will get this as BH plus A minus, right? So you may have learned in ionic equilibrium already how the acid base reaction works. So any base B minus will take away this H plus and becomes BH, and this part will become conjugate base, which is A minus. Now such bases, if you check out what are those bases here, H minus is a very strong base, R minus very strong base, okay? pH minus strong base, got it? Any butyl, Bu minus is, butyl group. Butyl group is a strong base. If I take RMgx, Grignard's reagent, here this is plus and this is minus. So R minus is a strong base, got it? Methoxy group, CH3ONa, minus and plus, this is also a strong base, got it? In fact, simply metal, if you check out, got it? Even if you react that with simple metal, metal will give electrons to hydrogen and it will come out as hydrogen gas. So if you check out all of these cases here, especially from here to here, I'll write one of the reactions. See, H minus, if you treat that with HA, it would become, H minus will extract this H plus, it will become H2 gas, and A minus is formed here. Suppose R minus, if you treat that with acid HA, it would become RH plus A minus. Similarly, if you react only with metal like potassium, if you add it in acid Ha, potassium will immediately provide electrons and becomes K plus, and those electrons will be taken away by hydrogen and becomes hydrogen gas, and this will become A minus. This is what you expect in an acid-base reaction. Everyone, I think all of you are clear with this, how the metal works. Now imagine the same thing, how it proceeds when you have an aromatic compound. Okay, suppose if I take a molecule like this, this is cyclopentadiene. So cyclopentadiene, if you treat that with potassium or sodium or any metal, okay, for that matter, if you react this with metal directly, which means you take metal, add it to this solution, okay, then what would happen? Metal will immediately release electrons. When it releases electrons, you can see there is a hydrogen present here. If at all I remove this hydrogen, what would happen to the molecule? Check out. The minute I remove that hydrogen out, right, so I would get this as minus charge here, and the minute I get minus charge here, this ring will become aromatic. So from a non-aromatic, this was initially a non-aromatic form, and this would become aromatic. So if it is able to get aromatic, definitely the reaction will proceed, and that hydrogen will come out as H2 gas, and potassium will be present as a salt here. Everybody understood this point? So this is the reaction you can expect to happen. Same way, if you see any Na plus and H minus are called hydrides. So if I take any hydride form, this H minus is also very strong base. It will extract proton from here. Immediately this will also become aromatic, H minus, and comes out as H2 gas. And this will stay as a salt with sodium. The same reaction will also proceed if you have something like Bu minus, Li plus, Bu minus, which is R minus. Any alkyl is a very, very strong base that will extract the proton from here, and as soon as it extract proton, same molecule, you'll get aromatic form here, Li plus plus BuH. It will become butane. Okay. Similarly, if you react that with RMGX in this case, I'll take CH3 MgBr, where you have this as minus, this as plus. So same molecule again, we will get this aromatic form with MgBr plus CH4 gas will come out, methane gas will come out of it. Okay, everybody. So you got to know if there is a chance by removing hydrogen, if we can get that aromatic form, it will definitely become aromatic. In fact, the pK value of this, if you check out, is around 60. Okay. So while pK value of H2 alkanes, all of this pK value is very high. It is around 48, 50 like that. So definitely this is at a much higher acid. These are all lower acids. Every reaction will always happen from strong acid towards weak acids. Check this down now. Suppose if at all I have same molecule here, see earlier it was non-aromatic. Earlier it was non-aromatic because there is an sp3 carbon here, so it is not able to complete the entire ring current. But the minute if we have pH minus, because this is pH minus and Mg plus, so this pH minus can extract this proton and that would become benzene, right? So it will become benzene, and here it will become minus and MgBr, right? And now you can see, observe this ring, this is also aromatic, this ring has also become aromatic, and this ring has also become aromatic now because it has one minus, double bond and double bond. So it is a 6 pi electron ring. This is also a 6 pi electron ring. So both have become aromatic. Same thing you can imagine for the next one here. So same molecule here, you can see one hydrogen will be removed. It will get minus charge on it, and that will get MgBr here with plus, and butane will come here. This will be butane, and here you can see that this ring is aromatic, this ring is aromatic, as well as now this ring has become aromatic. 6 beta, because it has pi and electron, right? If you ask total number of pi electrons also, it should match. See, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. That is also 4n plus 2 rule only, no? Here also you can see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 4n plus 2 rule is followed. Instead of remembering as a number of electrons, I am more comfortable with counting the number of pi bonds beta. If you count the number of pi bonds, they should always be odd number if it is aromatic. Okay. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, odd number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, odd number. See the next question. Meanwhile, keep writing that. We have to comment on the rotation energy barrier. Rotation energy barrier of the following. I'll give you 3 compounds here now. Check out one compound, which is this way. There is a double bond here, and one more double bond here. Let me call this as A. And then I have one more compound. Now I want to find out which one has more rotational barrier or less rotation barrier along this double bond. Along this double bond. Correct. CAB. Why it is so? Let us see. Suppose if I take this molecule, all 3 of them here, You just copy here and make this as positive and negative. You can clearly see that this ring has become aromatic as well as this ring has become aromatic. So would it exist in this double bond form or single bond form? The molecule always try to exist in single bond form. Clear, students? Same way, if you see the next structure also, if I remove this double bond and keep it as minus here and plus here, so you can see this will also exist in a single bond form because this ring has become aromatic as well as this ring has also become aromatic. Got it? Count it down. Those who are not able to understand, check out and count it. 1, 2, 3. This minus also you have to count it as a pi bond. 1, 2, 3. Odd number of pi bonds. Here it is 1. So 1 is an odd number. So that is also an aromatic compound. 1, 2, 3. Odd number. 1, 2, 3. Odd number. So both of them are aromatic. But on the contrary, if you see this C part here, in case if at all I change this double bond and make it as minus and plus, well, this ring may become aromatic, but this ring will become anti-aromatic, correct? So it will not want to exist in that form where there is any anti-aromatic form coming. So it will always exist in the form of double bond only, which means here the barrier will be very high. Here rotational barrier will be very high. So it is not easy to rotate. While here it is very easy to rotate, here it is even easy to rotate. Single bonds are very easy to rotate. Achha, between B and C, which has more aromatic nature? B has more aromatic nature because it is with more number of pi bonds. Got it? So between A and B, if you consider, this would have even better single bond character. So what should be the rotational barrier, everyone? So rotational barrier will be highest for C, then A, then B. Anyone has a doubt, please ask. Okay, so this compound's name is calcine. And you can see these two are showing what type of aromatic nature, beta? Quasi-aromatic. Sometimes the question will be asked in terms of bond order also. If you see, this would not be double bond, this will mostly be single bond character. Yes, beta, we have to showcase such a way that both the rings get aromatic. Here, if I put minus up and plus down, both will become anti-aromatic, no? Between A and B, beta, both of them are aromatic, but this aromaticity is more compared to that of this one. Okay, same as this one is less. This is more aromatic compared to this one because it has more number of pi bonds. Okay. Next important term to understand more aromatic compounds is aniline. See, aniline is nothing but a monocyclic, and that has to be homocyclic as well. Got it? Because we should not have any nitrogen compounds coming in between. And they should be polyenes only. They should be all double bonds only with alternate bonds. Okay, alternate double bonds, alternate double bonds and single bonds. Okay, for example, if I write this molecule, you can see there is an alternate double bond, single bond, double bond, single bond, right? And this is an monocyclic only, and all of them are carbons only. So yes, this is an aniline, and we write the aniline as this way, 4-aniline, which means it is a 4-carbon aniline. Okay, aniline is like a family which we use. Same way, if we have benzene, benzene is also an aniline because it has alternate double bonds. So we call it as 6-aniline. 6-aniline. Similarly, cyclooctatetraene, this molecule, these are also alternate double bonds. What do you call them? 8-aniline. Right? Now you know that this is anti-aromatic. AA is anti-aromatic. A means aromatic. Na is non-aromatic. Got it? So different anilines may have different ID. Now interesting is 10-aniline. If you have 10-aniline, this could be an important area that could be asked. See, 10-alanine will exist this way. See, this is all a single mono ring only. It is not two rings. This is the alternative double bonds which you can see. In this alternative double bonds, problem is here will be the hydrogen, here will be the hydrogen. So both these hydrogens come so close that they will exhibit van der Waal repulsions. So these type of repulsions are called transannular hydrogen atom repulsions. Okay, transannular hydrogen atom repulsions. Correct. So when you have 10 pi electrons, although it should exhibit aromatic nature because it has 10 pi electrons, right? And it is a closed loop. But since these hydrogens are highly close, I mean, they are so close to each other that they will repel very much. They will exhibit non-aromatic compound, non-planar nature. So they will have non-planar nature, hence they are non-aromatic in nature. Okay, everybody. So 10 annulenes, on the other hand, if you check it out, it will exhibit non-aromaticity. Got it? But imagine by some means, if at all I remove these two hydrogens, there are many ways I can remove that. Suppose if I make it as a bond itself, those two hydrogens are removed and made a bond here. What will this become? This will become naphthalene, which is aromatic. Correct? So if those hydrogens are replaced by the bond, it will become aromatic. So this is definitely aromatic. Same way, the other way of removing those two hydrogens to avoid that repulsion is make it in a cyclic bicyclo form like this, connected to some other carbon here. So double bond, double bond, double bond, double bond, double bond. So alternate double bonds are present. Now, as much as this ring is present, this is completely planar and exhibits aromaticity. So the overall ring is also called as aromatic. So this is aromatic as well. Same way, the same ring I can put with some other group in a bicyclic form here. Maybe I can connect that with an oxygen here. So that will also become aromatic. So the ring current is still present and it is a 10 pi electron system, 10 pi electrons here, 10 pi electrons here. So they are aromatic in nature. Everybody understood this point? This is about 10 annuline. Next, if you check out 14 annuline, in 14 annuline also aromatic nature is being observed. Now this time, if you observe, the molecule would be something like this. Okay, so we have double bond, double bond, double bond, alternate double bonds we have to put here. These are all alternate double bonds. And hydrogens will come this way, but they're not very close to each other. So here that repulsions won't be there. Since this is not, all these hydrogens are not close to each other, this will exhibit aromatic nature. So which means it is aromatic in nature, because it is at 14 pi electrons. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 pi bonds, which means 14 pi electrons. So just as a note, I'll write no transannular repulsions. So no resultant. Okay, which means if you consider with the other molecules, it will be very less. Got it? Very good question, beta. Only point is, if you check out the closeness of those hydrogen atoms, correct? Their van der Waal repulsions are slightly dominant with the resonance energy. Only in this case. Other cases, they are not. Like here also there is a repulsion, correct? But that is overcoming it. 12 annuline, and 16 annuline exist as non-aromatic compounds. They are supposed to exhibit anti-aromaticity, right? But because if you have 12 carbons, they can become non-planar and exhibit in the aromatic form. Okay, students? Make a note, everybody. See, another important term in aromatic compounds is annihilation. annihilation. Basically, annulenes, if we consider annulenes, in case if the ring aromaticity stops somewhere in the middle, then that is called annihilation. So which means in fused rings, this type of system we'll see in fused rings. So in fused rings, transferring of aromaticity from one ring to another ring is annihilation. It's called annihilation. For instance, if you check out the benzene ring, we have learned that the benzene ring has a resonance energy of minus 152 kilojoules per mole. Same way, when we check out for naphthalene, got it? In naphthalene, what we have seen, first there is this ring, correct? So it is a combination of two benzene rings only, because this ring was around 152 kilojoules, but the same pi bond is being transferred to the next ring. Some amount of energy is lost here. That is why if you see the resonance energy of naphthalene, it was around minus 252 kilojoules. But how much was expected? Expected was 2 times of 152, right? Which is not the case. So this, what happened here, because of these fused rings, this pi bond got shared here. So its total resonance energy got shared, because of which the total resonance energy has decreased. Got it? Now, by some means, if at all we are able to stop it, got it, then that is called annihilation. For example, if I take anthracene, so this is the anthracene ring. You see in anthracene, first there is this ring, then here, and then here. If you check it out here, same is the case happening with anthracene also. You can see this ring is aromatic here, and this that pi bond is shared with this also, because of which is not shared here. Got it? This is open. But here, if you check out, that's why resonance energy of anthracene come as minus 350 kilojoules, while expected is 3 times of minus 152. This is expected. Okay. On the contrary, if you see phenanthracene, here, phenanthracene will have ring structure like this. Now here in phenanthracene, if you see the ring form, this is how it exhibits. And here also there is a ring, and that is being shared here. And same way, this pi bond is shared here also. So here pi bond is shared 2 times. So that's why if you check out the resonance energy here, it is around minus 380 kilojoules per mole. Expected is 3 times that of minus 152. While the resonance energy is more here, because this resonance here is happening, the ring current is happening in 2 rings here, while the ring current is happening in all 3 rings here. So more amount of resonance energy will be exhibited here. Clear, everyone? Now, how do we stop this? Suppose if I take anthracene here as an example, I'll take this. So if we take anthracene, got it, and try to react that with, something like H2, one equivalent, I'm taking one molecule of H2, then H2 will immediately add here and here. Got it? These 2 locations, it will get added up, so that the final product, if you observe, this will be the ring, and hydrogen got added up here. So what happened now? Now you can see this ring is completely isolated, and similarly, I'll write this double bond inside. This ring has completely isolated. Now if you check out the resonance energy, got it? Now if you check out the resonance, it will be 2 times of 152. All right, so it will be 2 times of 152. Here resonance energy was how much? Minus 350 kilojoules. Got it? But now here, because they have completely isolated rings now, It will be 2 times of 152. Got it? So what happened? This molecule from here to here, where there is a ring current, that was stopped. So that ring current stopping is called as annihilation. So here, this reaction is making that annihilation to happen. Everybody understood this point? Same way, let me take another example, which is phenanthrene here. So in case of phenanthrene also, we will see the similarity. Suppose in phenanthrene, in case if at all I take this phenanthrene molecule and treat that with one equivalent of H2. Yeah. So you can see that we will have this formation with this as a separate ring formation here, and you can see this pi bond here, this gets added up so that this pi bond will be completely separated here. So we will have H and H get added up here. Got it? So that these two rings will be completely isolated now. Everybody understood this point? So these two are the examples of annihilation. So if you were being asked which of the following undergoes annihilation, you just have to follow wherever there are isolated rings, that means it has undergone annihilation.